All right, here with Megan Khang after her first round at the Chevron Championship. And as you mentioned, not the start you may have wanted, but you certainly did claw your way back. Just take us through that thought process and how you pulled yourself sort of out of it.
I mean, definitely, it's whether it's the first event of the year or your first major. I think anytime you come back from a break, like I didn't play Hawaii, so I was kind of coming back, not competing. So I had 2 weeks off, and, those first T nerves always come in, and let alone it's the major at a new course, you try to get to a hot start, but wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, but, managed to stay calm out there, and Jack and I were having a pretty good time, even though we were a little behind on the 8 ball at the start.
Yeah. Walk us through the eagle on that par 5 and how much that might have changed your mentality from there.
No, definitely. I mean, I'd missed like a gettable birdie on the par 3 7 right before. And I think that was kind of like, hey, okay, let's get it going. Try to give myself a chance to make it. And then we knew like 8 was coming up, and, you got to take care of the drive first. Hit a good drive out there. We roughly had 205 to the front, but it was downwind. I was kind of in between clubs. And I told Jack, I was like, hey, this is why we practiced the chips behind the green yesterday, because I said if there was a back pin, I don't mind being back there, because you just kind of got to get on the fringe and get it rolling on a good line. And, happily everything panned out the way I wanted to. And like 9, I watched Janet and Allison kind of roll their birdie putts in, and I was like, I can't be left out. So,
yeah,
had to follow suit.
Amazing. What does this course sort of require from you, challenges-wise?
Challenge-wise, I mean, I've been telling everyone these greens are smaller than you anticipate for Texas. They're firm, they're fast, and I mean, it's something you don't expect coming to a major. And I think the fact that, it is pretty grainy around the greens, missing it to the right spots is definitely going to help you, and kind of hitting center of the green and taking your putts is definitely going to be your friend out there.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious as to what your preparation was like a little bit before coming into the first major of the year.
Honestly, my dad and I tried to kind of keep it leisurely, always working on the things during off weeks, whether it's a major or any other event, and kind of giving the mentality of like, hey, just go out there, do the best you can, and then we'll see how we do, because as long as we try our best and do our best, there's nothing more we can ask for.
Amazing. Ken?
What'd you tell yourself after you walked off the 5th?
Gosh, what's the 5th?
That's where you got to 3 over.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The 5th. Yeah, no, obviously there were some words said that weren't the nicest towards myself. But, Jack and I, again, were just kind of like, hey, I wasn't hitting the greatest at the start, and I was like, hey, I think, I can't seem to be reading the greens that well. I think I'm going to need you to come in to have like a second pair of eyes. And especially once we got to round 7, we started reading the greens together, and it really was meshing well together. And, it's nice having that second pair of eyes and the confidence that, hey, we both see the same thing.
Was there any adjustment you made to your swing after that?
No, I think it was just like the nerves calming down from getting excited to get the round started, and told myself like, hey, we need to calm down, slow it down, and, swing like we know how to swing, like we practice.
Amazing. Last question for me. Are you happy to have some of those bogeys out of the way, knowing how to deal with those? Because obviously with the difficulty of this course, I'm sure there might be more. So you're happy to sort of get the mentality right for overcoming them? I
mean, no one likes making bogeys. I was joking with the crowd at the churn, and one of the guys was like, oh, I can show you how to make bogey. I was like, I'm trying to stay away from them. I made enough on my front. But I mean, you kind of expect bogeys to happen, and trying to minimize it is the best you can. But they are going to happen. I'm trying not to get too frustrated out there. It's a tough golf course. It's a good challenge, especially when the wind starts to pick up. So knowing that it's okay to make bogeys, but as long as I try to make them kind of like a good bogey, as he would say.
Amazing. Okay.
Just curious what your first impression was of this golf course and the build out and just the event itself.
I was like, we're not on Palm Springs anymore. I mean, it's a huge property. I joke around. I don't carry the golf bag, but I'm like, oh, it's a long walk. But no, I mean, coming into Houston, I for sure thought greens were going to be big, kind of like U.S. Women's Open a few years back in Houston. And this was not at all what I expected. But these small greens, the undulations, and kind of the runouts are definitely what caught my eye, and that's what I definitely thought was going to be kind of the hard part about playing this course.
With a couple of weeks off, did you have any thoughts about how important a performance this week is, not only for this upcoming Solheim, but the next one as well?
Honestly, I sound like a broken record whenever it comes to Solheim, and every week we try to kind of take care of business at the task at hand, which is the tournament that we came here to play in. And for me, I kind of say like, hey, if I do my best, just focusing on the tournament, like everything else will follow, whether it's points, money, rankings. I try to, every week, every one of us tries to come out and win, and that's kind of the goal, and everything comes following a good event.
Amazing. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.